Greetings all. Once again, this is your favorite redacted delinquent coming at you with another video. Today, we're going to talk about the divisional round of the 2022 NFL playoffs. We got some good slate of games. Last week was pretty good, had some clunkers. And like I've said in previous videos, the NFL's probably rethinking that whole seventh team in the playoff thing because neither one of those teams deserve to be there. But we're going to talk about teams that actually deserve to be there. We got 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, no Monday night games, which, will make Vince McMahon very happy. So let's just get right into it, because that's what you're here for. You're not here to listen to me ramble on about pointless bullshit. So first off, we're going to talk about the Bengals and the Titans in Tennessee. Well, the Titans got their first round bye, which was good to, obviously vital to get certain players healthy. The biggest health concern they have, obviously, is Derrick Henry and that foot injury. Is he healthy? All indications point that he will play. I mean, that's not exactly a secret. He's going to play. How effective will he be? I don't know. I was saying when this happened, and when he first put on IR, and they said there's a chance he could return for the playoffs, that made me a little weary. And as Titans fans should be a little weary about that too. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I do know that foot injuries, especially ones that require surgery, can take a long time to really properly heal. And it doesn't help that the fact that Derrick Henry is like a 250-pound monster playing the running back position, which means he's going to be doing a lot of cutting, a lot of moving, a lot of stress and pressure going to be put on that surgically repaired foot. The doctors seem to be okay with him playing, and obviously he's going to play. He's a gamer, and he wants to help his team win, and this is probably the best chance his team's ever going to have to win a Super Bowl. So, if they get, big man Derrick Henry, the Titans will have a hell of a good chance of winning this game because they can establish the run, chew up some clock, win a little old-school football fashion, which the more time they take off the clock with the running the ball with Henry, that's less time that Joe Burrow has to basically just throw the ball up and somehow Jamar Chase comes down with it, because that's what Jamar Chase does. But that's the biggest key to this game is the Titans' pass rush against Joe Burrow in that passing game. They need to harass Burrow. And like I said, I'll harp on this in just about every football game. If you harass the quarterback, obviously you have a good chance to win. And that's obviously not anything new. That's football 101 since the beginning of time until the game is outlawed and you're not allowed to touch anybody anymore, which will probably be about 3 years knowing how society is. But, Bud Dupree, it's basically shit or get off the pot time for Bud Dupree. This is the reason why they paid him $82 million for games like this. Bud Dupree needs to show up. Me, as a Steeler fan who's watched him play the last 5 years or so, I'm not skeptical. I've called him Bust Dupree since the beginning, and it's kind of funny how the last 2 years in Pittsburgh, when he's playing for a big contract, he actually did ball out and show he has some skill. But before that, he was just meh, and this year he's been meh. So, I don't know. If Bud Dupree shows up and the rest of that pass rush and the defense can harass Joe Burrow and keep Joe Mixon at least contained, they have a good chance of winning. And for the Bengals, on the flip side of that coin, their offensive line is not so great. They need to protect Joe Burrow. If they can protect Joe Burrow and give them time, I see the Bengals probably running away with this, because the Bengals are for real. That offense, at least this year, is for real. We'll see what happens next year. What happens when they actually have legit expectations. But this year, they're for real. And Joe Burrow, he is proving to be a franchise quarterback. He is a franchise quarterback. I figured he would be, but you never know with rookie quarterbacks. Some are flops, some are great. And he's going to be great. I think so. Barring another major injury or the offensive line getting him killed, Joe Burrow's for real. So if you don't harass him, if you give him time in the pocket, he's going to absolutely pick you apart. Not just with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase gets all the love on that team, but they've got so many weapons. They've got Boyd, they've got T. Higgins, obviously Joe Mixon out of the backfield. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. Jamar Chase gets all the attention because, he just Jamar Chase just looks like a man among boys out there, like Justin Jefferson. It makes me wonder how, in the time that they were both at LSU together, how LSU didn't score 150 points a game, but I digest. But anyway, the injury concerns for Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson, he is cleared concussion protocol, which is great for them because they're going to need all they can get, especially if they do get a healthy dose of Derrick Henry. And even if they do or don't, obviously Ryan Tannehill, excuse me, I totally drew a blank there. Ryan Tannehill, hopefully he doesn't have to win the game for the Titans. If he has to win the game for the Titans, it'd be a toss-up on whether or not they win. Is Tannehill capable of doing that? Yes, absolutely. He's capable of winning a game. But he's obviously more effective when he just can manage the game and make a play or two. But it's all going to really hinge on Derrick Henry's foot. If his foot's great, I think they win. I think they can control the clock. And the Bengals defense, they've got some decent players, and the aforementioned Hendrickson and a few others, but I'm still not. Do they have anyone who could cover A.J. Brown? I don't know. A.J. Brown's a beast. We'll see what happens with their secondary and everything. So, as I said, Bengals, their key to winning is keeping Joe Burrow clean. Keeping him upright all the game. They got a good shot. Titans, play good defense, harass Burrow, get Henry going a little bit, or the running game in general. Just get the running game going, even if Henry isn't exactly effective, or they have him on a pitch count. Just try to establish the run. If you put the game in Tannehill's hands, you could be in trouble. But I do think they established the run. I think the Bengals, they had a good run. They look good. They're going to put up a fight. But I think that this moment may be a little too big for the young team. So I see the Titans win and move on to the AFC Championship game. And that moves us on to the evening game, which is going to be a good one. This could be called the Injury Bowl. The 49ers at the Packers. And let's just get out of the way right now and talk about the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to do Aaron Rodgers things. Davante Adams is Davante Adams. He's going to do Davante Adams things. And they got Packers, of course, with their two-headed monster of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who A.J. Dillon has proven more and more that he could probably be the bell cow of that team, kind of making the Packers sort of agree, giving all that big money to Aaron Jones. But hey, a two-headed monster at running back, especially in the playoffs, in a place of bad weather like Lambeau, that's not the worst thing to have. That's a pretty damn good problem to have. That's going to be, if Rodgers can do what he does all game long, the 49ers are in deep trouble. Now, Rodgers is going to be Rodgers. He's going to make his plays, but the 49ers got to stop the run. Their defense has to step up. Because Rodgers, it's hard to stop Rodgers even if everything goes right for you. Because Rodgers, think whatever you want about him personally, the guy is the best quarterback in football and one of the greatest of all times. I've never seen a quarterback make the position look easier than Aaron Rodgers does. Let's be honest here. But the injuries, there's a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. Packers injuries, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is doubtful. That's going to be a little bit of a hindrance to them. I mean, they got Cobb, and they've got the running backs and Davante Adams, of course. But Valdez-Scantling was a good second option for him. So they're going to miss him. And David Bakhtiari and Jair Alexander are both questionable. I'm thinking that they play, although they don't have a lot of, who knows what kind of game shape they're in, because they have not had a lot of playing time recently. But them coming back will have an improvement on there. Zadarius Smith and Whitney Merciless, as of the recording of this video, they're still on IR. If they're going to play tomorrow, they have to be taken off IR today. There's a chance they both could play. I don't know. They'd probably be on a pitch count. So that's the Packers. The Packers basically, if Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers for 4 quarters, this game is going to be a cakewalk for the Packers. But if the 49ers key to win, basically run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Let Elijah Mitchell do what he does. Dude's a hell of a running back. They're deep in running backs, but Mitchell is looking to be a stud. Of course, you know, it is Kyle Shanahan, much like his dad, his blocking scheme and offensive system. You can pretty much plug any running back in there and get 12 to 1,500 yards. But he's a good running back. And, of course, much like Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel is Deebo Samuel. That dude is the biggest X factor of any team in the playoffs, in my opinion. Deebo Samuel, as a runner, as a receiver, and he can even throw sometimes, is the most dangerous player in the playoffs. And if Deebo goes off, the Packers are going to be in trouble, because is their defense enough going to have enough juice to keep up with Deebo? It's going to be interesting to see how that happens. And the 49ers are dealing with their injuries themselves here. Nick Bosa, he's looking good to play with that concussion. That's always good for the pass rush. You know, like I said, put pressure on the quarterback. Need all the pass rushes you can get. Never have too many of those. But they've got a couple of... The biggest injuries I think they have is Fred Warner with that ankle injury, and Jimmy, the G is for garbage, Garoppolo with the shoulder and the thumb injury. Now, Jimmy G, I think he looked absolutely awful last week. That game against Dallas, Jimmy G seemingly did everything he could to hand Dallas the game. How the Cowboys lost that game is it's absolutely pathetic, because Jimmy G and the referees did everything they could to hand that game to Dallas, but they still couldn't win it. Jimmy G cannot be the focal point, especially in the weather's going to be around 20 degrees at game time. It actually probably a little less because it's going to be a night game. So it's going to get down into the teens. Who knows what the wind chill is going to be like? It's going to be pretty damn cold. And with the ankle injury to Fred Warner, keeping him warmed up, not letting it stiffen up on him, Fred Warner's not going to be the player that even in good weather, he's not going to be the same player. You know, with the ankle injury, he's going to be a step slower, but he's a gamer. He's tough. He's going to play, and he's probably better than the alternative. But it's going to affect him, and just the cold weather is also going to affect Jimmy G's shoulder and his thumb. It's just your joints stiffen up in cold weather, especially if they're already hurt. It's hard to keep yourself loose in that kind of weather and that kind of environment. That's why that's a home field advantage for the Packers. This is so great. So the 49ers just need to control the line of scrimmage, run the ball, do what they can do. Try not to let Kyle Shanahan's ego run amok, because that's a problem too, because sometimes Kyle Shanahan could be calling a great game, and then he'll be like, you know what? They need to realize what a genius I am. Let's run this play, and then it completely kills any momentum the team has. Todd Haley used to do that for Pittsburgh all the damn time. But I think the 49ers, good upset last week, one of the upsets I picked. I think they'll play tough, they'll play hard. This won't be a blowout, but I think the Packers win. And both one seeds move on to their respective conference championship games, awaiting their opponents. And then Sunday you have the Rams at the Bucks. This game here is basically, there's really no pressure on Tampa at all. I mean, all the pressure is on Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, in my opinion. Tom Brady and the Bucs are as loose as a goose right now. They really are, because the question is going to be, are Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay going to do anything to mess this up? Matthew Stafford has to be efficient. You can't have him throwing 40, 50 times this game. They have to establish the run with Cam Akers and Sony Michel. And then that will open up the passing lanes for, obviously, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, and, of course, Odell Beckham Jr., who has been a surprise. I figured he was going to totally disrupt the chemistry of that team. But unlike a lot of idiot wide receivers who shall remain nameless, he realized this is probably his best chance of getting a Super Bowl and his last chance to make a bunch of money in the NFL. So he's been on his best behavior. So he's been a nice surprise for them. But they have to establish the run, the offensive line. They need to establish dominance. And that's not going to be easy, because the Bucs defensive line's pretty good. The Bucs defense is good. They love to blitz all the time. That could be a thing, though. Matthew Stafford loves to torch the blitz. A lot like Tom Brady. He's not as great at it, but Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, they both, if you blitz them, they can exploit it. And when you got a receiver like Cooper Kupp, who can play outside, inside, he moves all over the place, they can find, if you're going to blitz, like Tampa likes to blitz, they're going to find some lanes for Cooper Kupp. And when he gets the ball in his hands, that dude can do it. That dude can play. I mean, Cooper Kupp can play. So, but the Bucs just need to establish the run. Cam Akers looked pretty good. Sony Michel looks good. Sony Michel's found a nice little spot as the number 2 back. A little change of pace back in Los Angeles. He's doing pretty well. So, a healthy dose of Akers. I would say 15 to 20 carries for Akers and maybe 10 to 12 carries for Michel. Run the ball at least 30 times a game. Establish it. Get those tough yards. Chew up the clock. Keep Tom Brady off the field. Because Tom Brady, much like Rodgers, Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady. As much as we hate him and, sometimes question how he can be even better at 44 than he was at 24. That's a story for another time. But basically, with all the injuries and everything that's happened to the offensive players for Tampa, this game really is a big part of this game is going to be the matchup between Jalen Ramsey and Mike Evans. Who's going to win that? That's going to be key, especially in the second half. If Jalen Ramsey can at least keep Mike Evans in front of him, Mike Evans will get his catches. He's too good not to. But don't let it give up anything deep. Give underneath. Make him earn every yard. That's what the Rams have to do. They make him earn every yard. And the Rams did. There's been a lot of talk about the Rams. They won the game in Week 3, 34-24. So they've already played once. They beat them once. Maybe they got a little confidence in them. The Rams are going to play tough. They're not going to be an easy out. But at the end of the day, I don't see the Rams winning. I got Tampa winning this game and going on to Green Bay to face the Packers. It really sucks that Tom Brady is just another step closer to another damn Super Bowl. It's just whatever, but it is what it is. Someone's got to beat him, I guess, and I don't know who the hell's going to beat him, but it's not going to be this week. The Rams aren't going to win this game. Stafford and McVay come up short one more time. I could be wrong, hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see the Rams winning this game. Tampa, they're gamers. They've been here before. They know what it takes to win. They're at home. That's always an advantage. Although weather, provided it's not rainy and nasty, weather's not going to be too much of a factor being in Tampa. But the Rams will play tough. It won't be easy, but I think the Bucs win in a close one. And then we have the big game of the weekend, the one that everybody's probably looking forward to, and the one that will probably be the most watched game of the weekend is the Bills and the Chiefs. Kansas City, obviously Arrowhead's going to be rocking like it always is. And the game is basically, this is Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. And Patrick Mahomes, obviously, the Chiefs looked great. Of course, they played a very, very bad Steeler team that didn't deserve to be there. You go watch that video if you want my opinion on that. But, like I said, it was a good tune-up game. Both the Bills and the Chiefs had basically what amounted as a tune-up game against a Division II school, because the Bills just absolutely dismantled the Patriots, which I didn't see that coming. I thought the Patriots were going to win that one in a close one. But I also mentioned that if the Bills team that we know exists, if they show up, they're going to be hard to beat. And it's the same thing this week. If that same Buffalo Bills team shows up this week that showed up last week, the one that just looked like a damn unstoppable juggernaut and picked apart the defense of Bill Belichick and just absolutely steamrolled them, the Bills are going to be tough to beat. And the Chiefs are the Bills at their best. The Chiefs is one of maybe 2 or 3 other teams that could beat them at their best. The Bills' defense, they're ranked number 1. If they play up to their potential, they can contain Patrick Mahomes and create turnovers. Mahomes has been susceptible to turnovers this year, a little more than in previous years. That's something to look out for. They can keep the pressure on him, do that. Their secondary's taken a little bit of a hit with the injuries recently, and obviously with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and also Mecole Hardman. And who knows, you may even get a Josh Gordon sighting somewhere. But it's not going to be an easy game either way. And this could end up being a damn shootout because neither defense is so that good. Obviously, I think the Chiefs' secondary, maybe it's a little better than the Bills' secondary, but neither one of them are great. Obviously, with Tyrann Mathieu patrolling out there, he's a ball hawk. He can do some things, but still, I think it's going to end up being a shootout between Allen and Mahomes. And at the end of the day, I think in the fourth quarter, the team that runs the ball better in the fourth is what's going to win it. It's going to be a huge game. The first three quarters is going to be Mahomes versus Allen in a shootout. And then the team that runs the ball better in the fourth quarter and really establishes the line of scrimmage in the fourth quarter, I think that's when they're going to win it. Whoever has the most will to win the fourth. And I think it's going to be Buffalo. I'm picking Buffalo in the upset. Buffalo wins. They move on to face the Titans in the AFC Championship game. So basically, those are my picks. On Saturday, I've got the Titans beating the Bengals. The Bengals. And I got the Packers beating the 49ers. I think both will be good games, but I just don't see either. I see both whole teams taking it on this one. And Sunday, I got the Bucks over the Rams, another home team. It's just, the Rams, I just think they're going to get in their own way. And much like what I mentioned about Kyle Shanahan and sometimes his ego getting in the way of thinking he's a genius, I think McVay does the same thing sometimes and it trips him up. I think that happens again. He's going to overcoach. And Bruce Arians is just going to let him do it. Then I got the Sunday evening game, the big game. I got the Bills beating Kansas City in Arrowhead. It's going to be a good slate of games this week. I think the games are obviously overall going to be better than they were last week. Most of the games they kind of sucked. Not really much fun to watch. It was fun watching Dallas lose, obviously. I would have been fun to watch the Patriots lose if I could have watched that damn game, but Paramount Plus app was just going all over the place. It was driving me nuts. So I just ended up watching a movie instead. So I missed that blowout, which kind of sucked. But hey, Patriots lost. That's a good one. So we'll see if I can go 4-0 this week. Because I started out last week with my picks 0-2, but then I won my last four. So I'm 4-2 going into the divisional round. I'm confident with these picks. But let me know in the comment section what you think. What if you disagree with some of my picks? Some of the maybe your point of view is a little different. Maybe you got a little different analysis than me. Always appreciated to hear your all's opinions. And I thank you for watching. Take the time out of your day to hear what I have to say on the subject. I wish you all a great weekend of football and happiness. And I hope you join me for the next video. But until then, so long.